This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by lynda.com. Coming up on Destructoid, Xcom is coming to iOS, Spelunky is coming to PS Vita, and BioShock Infinite came out already today. All that and more coming up on Destructoid.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Tuesday, Max Scoville.
Happy GDC's days.
Yeah, it is GDC this
yeah.
week. It's our first show since GDC started, which really hasn't started. I mean, the show floor isn't open yet, but we've seen some stuff.
GDC's off to a rolling start. I think so far, some of the biggest news to come out of it is by way of an event that Sony threw last night to show off some of the indie games that are coming out to their various devices. Indie. For starters, the PlayStation Vita is going to be getting some games. I'm just going to run down the list because there's a bunch of them. They're getting Limbo, Hotline Miami, Thomas Was Alone, Luftrausers, Dragon Fantasy Book 2, Velocity Ultra, Spelunky, and the hilarious and recently shown off two-button fighting game Dive Kick.
That game is so fun.
It sounds so stupid, but it totally works.
I hate fighting games, but it's so fun.
All you do is dive and kick. There's also going to be the newly announced Metrico, which looks like a puzzle platformer where you make a guy climb around on charts and graphs. I'm surprised no one's done this sooner. Looks like a gorgeous game. The PS3 is also going to be getting most of those, as well as Ib and Ob, Rain, and Sports Friends, which is the kickstarted indie game bundle containing Johann Sebastian Joust, Bari Bari Ball, Hokra, and Super Pole Riders. There's some Johann Sebastian Joust happening. Yep.
I played that last night.
The first reason anyone's ever had to buy PlayStation Move controllers for reals. Anyway, release dates and pricing for all these are still a little bit vague, except for Guacamelee, which is going to be dropping on PSN on April 9th for $15 and will support cross-buy. So if you buy it for your PS3, you get the Vita version too, and it is a luchador Metroidvania beat-em-up. So I don't know why you wouldn't spend $15 on that. Two games were also announced for the PlayStation 4, and while they might seem a little bit more AAA in terms of subject matter, I assure you they're both indie. First is Zombie Studios' free-to-play shooter Blacklight Retribution, which we knew was coming to consoles, but we didn't know which consoles, but it's going to be coming to PlayStation 4, so there's that. And then there's the newly revealed Primal Carnage Genesis, which is an episodic single-player game where you presumably get to shoot dinosaurs with a gun, which is good. The original Primal Carnage was released last year on PC, and it was only multiplayer. Genesis is a new game entirely, and it's going to be running on the Unreal 4 engine, which is very exciting.
So is this single player?
Yeah, single player. I mean, they just showed off that video of the dinosaur breaking out of the dinosaur tank, but I mean, I'm very curious to see what they do with that. I'm excited, for all this news, except for Spelunky coming to Vita, which pretty much means that my girlfriend won't be speaking to me anymore because she is stupid addicted to that game. So, Derek, I hope you're ready to come over to my house and tuck me in at night.
That game got the most applause when they announced all the ones that were coming to Vita.
Yeah, people are really excited about that.
Well, something I'm excited for, like 6 months ago, was Borderlands 2, and Gearbox is back to work on it. They just announced a new batch of DLC for the game, and they say it's going to be their biggest one yet, which really they say about all of them. So this is their 4th campaign DLC that's going to be releasing sometime before the end of June, and they've been pretty quiet on details so far, but they did show a 2-minute teaser trailer at PAX East this year, hinting that Tiny Tina may be the star of this DLC, which is very exciting for me and many others, I'm sure. In addition to the new campaign, they're also adding a 6th playable character to the roster named Krieg the Psycho, who was teased a couple weeks ago. As you can probably guess by looking at him, he was inspired by the box art for Borderlands 2, the Psycho that's on the front. Krieg is apparently the most aggressive of all the characters in Borderlands 2 and one of the hardest to play because he doesn't automatically regenerate health. Instead, you will have to kill enemies to get your health back up to its maximum level. So his action skill revolves around a buzz axe, which he can use as a melee or ranged weapon. And of course, like all the other characters, he's got 3 skill trees: Bloodlust, which focuses on stacking accumulation, kind of like Gage's Anarchy tree. There's also Mania, which gives you rewards whenever you take damage, and Hellborn, which lets you set yourself on fire for extra power, which is awesome. There's no actual release date for that yet, but Gearbox says you will be able to buy it soon for $9.99, and that unfortunately is not included in the season pass. So even if you have one, you will still have to pay $9.99. Meanwhile, the update that most of you have actually been waiting for, the long-awaited level cap increase, is officially coming on April 2nd. The Ultimate Vault Hunters pack is going to bump the level cap up from 50 to 61, and it also includes a new line of pearlescent gear specifically for characters levels 51 to 61. That DLC pack is going to cost $5 or free if you have a season pass. They didn't actually include that in the original listing for the season pass, so if you have one, it's kind of like a neat little bonus. And of course, also on April 2nd, there is another separate update coming for free, which adds a third playthrough option for the game called Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. So, yeah. Lastly, I know there's a lot of stuff, but please bear with me, guys. Very soon, they're going to be adding a free title update that will increase your inventory size, and it will also allow you to hold more ammo and iridium. So there's some free stuff coming up and some paid content coming up, and hopefully it's all good. You look like you could give less of a shit.
Can that game just finish coming out already? It's such a steady trickle.
This is almost their last one. So.
All right. So I think we managed to run down most of the announcements from PAX East on last Friday's show, but one that we didn't get a chance to touch on because we didn't know about it yet is that XCOM Enemy Unknown will be coming to iOS. Yes. I like this news. Firaxis's Jake Solomon calls this version a full port, in line with Civilization Revolution and Sid Meier's Pirates, both which were received pretty well. And while there's no release date or price yet, it is slated for sometime this summer on both iPad and iPhone, and it's being referred to as a premium-priced app. Ooh la la. So if you were hoping for a free-to-play game with ads in it or something, you might be disappointed, but I'd pay $10 for that.
Yeah.
The port's been in development since October 2011, which is a full year before the actual game shipped. It is being handled by 2K China, with Firaxis overseeing things, and probably the big difference between the console and portable versions is the iOS version is going to have slightly smaller maps, and due to file size limitations, and also the fact that you're playing on a little tiny thing, and also a touchscreen interface, which is something I have been hoping for since I first saw XCOM. Like, it just looks totally natural. I'm absolutely 100% down for this version of the game. So yeah, I guess it's okay if my girlfriend has Spelunky on her Vita because I get XCOM on my telephone.
This is such a good idea.
Buses just became fun to ride on again.
I feel like iOS is an even better platform for this game than consoles.
Yeah, this game is like just made for touchscreen.
Yeah, it really is. So here's an interesting little blast from the past. The creator of Echo the Dolphin, inarguably one of the best Sega Genesis games ever made, announced a Kickstarter yesterday for a new underwater adventure game called The Big Blue. This is not quite a sequel to Echo, but there are definite similarities. The Big Blue is set 1 million years into the future after humanity has extinguished and the ocean has spawned a bunch of new life forms. So players are going to be able to control any creature in the sea that they want, or multiple at a time if they want to create a swarm of fish or sharks or something, and they can breed with other animals to repopulate the species. So, fish sex, guys.
Well, I'm excited about this game now.
And that kind of goes hand in hand with the game's environmental themes, because it's definitely got some messages in there about impact and environments and all kinds of stuff. The developers are calling this an exploration-based action-adventure game with puzzles and quests. So that's like 8 different things. It's kind of hard to get an idea of how the game actually plays based on their video, because it's literally just showing them following a dolphin around. But the description says this, quote, "Some creatures will be very fast and can breach the surface like the dolphins. Some can swim very deep and have no need to surface for air. Choosing the right creature for the right quest will be critical." So they've also said that the graphics and music are going to be a huge part of the game. So Ed Annunziata, the creator of Echo and the guy who's running the Kickstarter, says that their goal is to create the most beautiful water and lighting effects ever seen. Okay. And that the movements through the water and even above the surface will be perfect and super realistic. They've also brought back the original composer of the Echo series, Spencer Nielsen, who plans to create a new soundtrack and a specialized sound system that dynamically responds to what you're doing in the game. So definitely some lofty goals here. They're asking for $665,000 to fund the whole thing, which is quite a bit, and it's raised a little over $25,000 since yesterday. So it's got some momentum, but probably not quite what they were hoping for. If it does get funded, though, they're aiming for an Earth Day 2014 release, April 22nd. You all know when Earth Day is, right? And it's going to be releasing on Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. They've also discussed adding some features including multiplayer and cooperative elements if they reached 50% over their funding goals, and they say if they double their funding goals, they will turn the game into an MMO in the vein of EVE Online.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
So there's a very, very, very early prototype of the game up now, which you can actually go play right now on playchemy.com/games/7.
Good simple
This
URL
looks very
there.
interesting. I love Echo. I want to believe in this, but damn it, I just don't know right now. It's hard to tell. So we're going to take a quick second to thank our sponsor, and then we will be back with more news. So it may not be difficult to find information in this internet age, but it can be difficult to find the information you want in a form that is easily digestible, and that is where lynda.com comes in. Lynda.com offers a wide variety of online classes with over 77,000 video tutorials and subjects related to software, creative, and business skills.
Whatever your learning style, lynda.com has knowledge you need, from brief tutorials to comprehensive courses in topics ranging from web design to photography to business to 3D animation and more. New courses are added every week with their optimized mobile site or free iPhone or iPad app. For members, you can easily learn on the go.
Yep. Membership starts at $25 a month and gets you 24/7 unlimited access to top quality video courses taught by expert instructors with actual real-world experience. Even better, you can visit lynda.com/dtoid and get an entire free week's worth of access. Again, that is lynda.com/dtoid for free learning knowledge.
Fill your brain with educational facts.
Yes. All right, back to the show about video games. BioShock Infinite came out this week. You might have heard of it. It's a small indie title. You might have also seen the interview that I did with Ken Levine last week, where I did not flash myself or act in any way that could be considered inappropriate, for the record. So the game has been getting pretty high marks almost everywhere. It's currently at, a 95 on Metacritic? Pretty high. Over on Destructoid, Jim Sterling reviewed the game and gave it a 10 out of 10, which is pretty rare for him. He called it one of those rare games with a perfect beginning, an engaging middle, and a perfect end. He also rightfully compared it to the first BioShock, not just in terms of its exceptional quality, but in its ability to completely redefine a generation of games. So people like this game, needless to say. You can read his full review over on Destructoid.com, and of course, if you haven't seen Adam Sessler's review of the game, you really should, because it's awesome, and it got posted to the front page of Reddit, and people were saying it's the best video game review they've ever seen, so
Yeah,
it's good.
They're saying the review is actually better than the game itself.
Yeah, which is true.
yeah.
And that's on youtube.com/rev3games, so you know where to find it.
You know, you can actually just go out and buy BioShock Infinite, if you haven't already. This is one of the few times when you, normal gamers at home, can probably play a game before most of the people in the gaming industry, because they've all been at PAX East and now they're at GDC.
That's true.
I ran into Drew Holmes yesterday, who's one of the writers for BioShock Infinite, and I told him that he was an asshole to his face for releasing the game just right now in the middle of all this bullshit, and he said I was the 8th person to tell him that day. That is about all the time we have for today's show. We're going to be back here on Friday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time for what is sure to be a very exciting post-GDC live show. But in the meantime, you can keep up with all the coverage we're doing over on Destructoid.com, and you can find all of our video stuff, again, over on Rev3 Games. And for drunken, exhausted, stupid, or otherwise incoherent revelations about the 2013 Game Developers Conference, be sure to follow us on Twitter. I'm Max Scoville, she's Tara Longest, and the show is Dtoid Show. We love you very much.
We love you.
Good night.
See you on Friday.